All right, that's us, hey? Are we on? Cool.
When you say look at the camera, is this what you mean?
Good morning, everybody. Good to see yous. I'm here with Dan, the real Dan, not one of my kids with a faceplate over there. We're also here
Let us know which one you prefer.
Yeah.
No, don't. I'm having a hard time with my self-esteem at the moment.
We're also here with Thomas. That's where Thomas says hello.
Also
and Kel.
Hi.
And they're going to help us. Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing all the work.
Yeah. And we're just the ones that get to sit and look good.
You do look good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kel. I'm going to claim that one.
I was going to wear my pajamas, but Kel's like, no, you got to wear actual clothes.
I was going to wear my pajamas, but that is not clothes. So.
And you guys will be impressed because actually under this table, I'm actually wearing actual pants, not just sitting here in my undies. Kel's like, no, you can't do that. You can't. You got to look professional even if they can't see you.
Well, I thought you were going to stand up and write on the board. I was like, that's good.
When we turn backwards, that's a little bit cheeky. We had, to kick us off, we have had some questions already about Friday Night Youth. Apologise for the silence on that. We are kicking off this Friday night. We will be doing it only on Instagram because of all the measures that are still in place. We're going to commit to that for at least 5 weeks, the same as school. And then beyond that, we got no clue. So we'll keep you updated. If you ask us in the next 5 weeks, probably what we're doing, we're going to give you no more information. But yeah, stay posted for Instagram live each Friday night. I don't know what we're going to do, but
It'll be great.
It'll be great. I imagine it'll just be Florence and William putting shaving cream pies in my face or something like that.
Sounds really good.
It'll be really good. They'll be up at 9 o'clock at night, just buzzing.
I'll feel great the next day.
Yeah. Mills will be like, wow, I'm so glad you're doing this in our house at this time.
Yeah. If you're joining us and you've been before, give us a wave. If you're brand new, like, I don't think we've had Lucy Anderson before, give us a thumbs up so we know you're
Amy Brown.
new.
Hey, Lucy.
I think we had Amy last time, Cal and I, didn't we?
I'm not sure. Maybe, yeah.
It's good.
And Siobhan's brand new, Dan Cooper's brand new, or hasn't been with us on live chat before. We're just actually
Good to
trying
have you
to
guys.
get a few people on here. So
Yeah. If you're on your parents' account too, we'd be interested to know, are you there with your parent? So Gracie, Jack, Caleb, I don't know, whoever might be using their parents' account. We want to know, is it just you or is it your parents? Because it probably affects on how formal Paul and I have to be. And the other thing is, I'd love to find out if anyone if their parent gets an Instagram account just so you can do youth church. I'd like to find out who the first person to do that is. If their parents let you get an account, or if your parents get an account so you can use Instagram to have access to youth group on Fridays or youth church on Sundays. We'd really think that's a cool thing if your parents are willing to branch out like that in order for us to be able to hang out with you guys in this way.
It's just the Rodder boys.
just the Rodder boys. So is that
Alright, cool.
all 3 Rodder boys or 2 Rodder boys?
This is just us.
Big Jack and Mason, eh?
Jack and Mason, yeah.
Unless Harry's just like ditched kids' church and he's jumping up.
And it's just Gracie.
Just Gracie.
Great,
Sweet.
Gracie.
Cool, now we've got license to be ourselves. This is good. Thank
Hey,
you for
Lucy.
clarifying. Well, that's probably because Matt's probably really busy, like leading worship right now, isn't he? On the screen anyway. Carmen's in bed or something. I don't know.
Sunday sleeping. Do you want to open in prayer?
Good to have you, Gracie.
Yeah, I was gonna open in prayer. I was just waiting to see if any more people joined us.
Just Jack and Mason.
Open in prayer? Let's open in prayer.
Let's have a prayer. Sounds good.
Lord God, thank you for this morning. Thank you that even though we're isolated and physically separated, that we can still join through technology and through spirit. And we pray, Lord, today as Dan and I guess, waffle on and speak, that you could just prompt something in the kids' hearts just to be brave and to share questions they really want answered, or maybe questions that they get asked a lot, or questions that they know their friends ask a lot that they might just need some clarity on. We pray you just prompt something in our guys' hearts to want to share openly, and we pray that people would be respectful and safe with each other and just be a really good morning. And this would be maybe one of the highlights of the day for people who are online with us now. Pray you just guide Dan and I as we speak. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I got a question to start with, Paul, about, make sure you guys, did you get the email? Did your parents get the email from the youth board, from me, Paul, and the team? It's got the link for the YouTube for this. It's just got the information for this term. Just make sure you ask your parents if they did get that email. We'd love to know if you didn't. Make sure that we can have that line of communication nice and clear in this time. Yeah.
And probably if you've got friends that you think might like to be part of this chat as we do study, they can probably forward that email to them, can't they? To other families, other friends.
Forward it on.
It's been really cool because we're getting a few people who can't normally make it to Sunday morning in the church physically. So, like Sophie and some of those guys. So it's good to have some people who normally wouldn't get to go to Sunday morning study. So if there's anyone like that you know, hey, really is doing nothing on Sunday morning and might appreciate something like this, then let us know.
Yeah, this is up for another 24 hours or something, isn't it? So you can flick this to them, and if they go, that is not worth tuning in for, then they know not to. But if they do, they can join us next week. We want some questions. If you don't know this term, we've dubbed it a really creative title. Dan and Paul will answer your questions.
That sounds really good.
Yeah, we've covered the first part of it here quite well. I think here is Paul and I'm Dan. And now it's up to you guys for the questions part. How good the answers are will be highly dependent on numerous things. If you ask good, deep questions, we will do our best to give you good, deep answers. If you ask questions like, when I have an itch and I scratch it, where does it go? Then you might only get a little bit of airtime for that question. But we do want any questions and all questions. So whether they're about the Bible or spiritual stuff or, any deep aspect of life, or whether they are just those questions that you just feel like you have to ask.
Yeah. And don't feel like you have to put them on the Instagram chat. If there's something you want to ask and it's private, or it's I don't want everyone to know I'm asking this, send it to me or Dan or Kel or Thomas. One of us will have Messenger or Instagram, so pass it through that way if you want to.
Yeah, Thomas says there's like a question thing on Instagram too that you can put them in.
Not this time.
Oh, not this time. Don't worry about
Not this time.
Just post in the chat.
Post in the chat. Cool.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get lots of questions, and if we do get lots of questions and there's similar ones like, Paul, what is your favourite colour? Or Paul, do you have a favourite colour? Or if you could choose one colour, what would it be, Paul? Then we might do all those in one hit. We're not going to answer those three independently of each other. So
we don't have like 50 weeks to do this. We could, but that'd get really boring.
So we do, and if we do that, we'll sort of try to do our best to tell you what ones we've clumped together and stuff. But we trust that you guys are also very intelligent and very bright, and you can work out if we're answering a question that's either very similar to yours or covers the same topic.
Yep. Ask as many questions as you want. We do have only about 9 weeks, so maybe prioritise them in order of this. Number 1, this is what I want really answered, down to like number 4. I'd like this answered, but it's not super important. And don't be afraid if we're doing these questions now and someone asks a question that Dan and I might read out, and that makes you think of a question, you can still ask a question around that question, even if you've already asked like 5 or 6 questions. Just get a bit of dialogue going and helps us shape the studies on how you want them to look.
Yeah, it's important to know that whether we've covered sort of what you really meant with the question, or if there's a part of it we haven't touched on, because without seeing you guys face to face and being able to have the interaction that we normally have, sometimes that is how we gauge, like you can tell us whether we've answered the question properly, or we read sort of off your engagement how much we're answering the question and things like that. And without that, we need that interaction through the comments and all that sort of stuff as to, what about this? How about that? Does it apply in this situation? Whatever that may be. Yeah.
And if you guys do a really good job and we end up getting lots of people joining and lots of people asking a lot of questions,
Matt's here.
They might not all get answered in studies. They might end up getting answered personally or through Messenger or something like that. So we'll try and cover as many as we can, but if we get lots, then don't be offended. Yeah.
Lucy, look, so good. So good. Such good questions already. Such good questions.
Yeah.
Um,
Does Lucy wear Speedos when she's stuck at home?
look, I wore Speedos. What's today? Sunday. Thursday I wore Speedos. Last weekend I wore Speedos in my kids' dinosaur pool. And I can tell you there that I was actually the most dressed person in that pool when I was in there with William. So you should be thankful for my modesty.
Did William bring the heat in the pool for you? Did he warm the water up for you?
He does like doing DDs. not in the potty, not in the toilet, but the grass and the dinosaur pool. DD. Thanks, buddy.
That's a good question for you to ask Lucy. What's a DD? Lucy says when she's at home alone, she doesn't wear anything. Wow, Lucy, that's weird. You know, this is like a family chat, Lucy. You know that, hey?
Keep it clean, Lucy. Keep it clean.
And yeah, so the YouTube people I don't think can see the questions, so we might read some of them.
Oh yeah.
Matt says, "Can you see my question?" That is the question. Okay.
You were going to be a philosopher when you grow up.
Yeah.
And the answer is yes.
And
And
does the
Sophie
question
says-
exist if I don't ask it?
Sophie's got a, how did Easter go from Jesus rising from the dead to eating chocolate?
Oh, that's a good question. Never had that one.
That's a good one.
Yeah. We've got another one on YouTube that's good. So this is Esther. She wants to know, what is a soul and what is the difference between the spirit and the soul?
And I don't have any spirits with me right now. That's a good question.
We don't keep spirits in the house. Unless you count methylated spirits.
Got to keep clean in these times. Yep, no, that's a very good question, Esther. And thanks for joining us on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's cool. It's cool to have people on YouTube, and knowing that is a worthwhile thing for Thomas to spend a lot of time on and do all the work on, so that we can have you here with us. That's really cool. I shall honest Dan. Cool. That's good. Thank you, Matt.
So we've got some anonymous questions. One of them is, what does the Bible say about the LGBT community?
Yep.
Good question.
Another one is, does depression only happen to those of a weaker faith?
Yep, good question. Someone really good thought about those.
Yeah.
Deep thinker.
Someone else has joined. Is it Lee?
Lee.
Jay
Lee.
Lee?
Is that Jessica Lee?
How committed should I be to a non-Christian friend if they are a bad influence?
How committed should I be to a non-Christian friend if they're a bad influence?
Yeah.
Yep, good question.
Okay. And another one. How can I pray for my friends better or read my Bible more while I've got this time at home?
Yeah.
Cool.
Siobhan.
Siobhan.
Should we start with should we knock off the Easter one while we're here?
Yeah.
So, Sophie asked this question. How did Easter go from Jesus rising from the dead to eating chocolate? Now, I don't know the exact history of it. And I would love to be able to draw a timeline for you of how we went from empty tomb to full bellies. But I know that there's connections from the fact that, well, at least maybe Christians have hijacked connections. A lot of the eggs are hollow, and so we use the fact that they are empty, like Jesus' empty tomb. We talk about eggs being a symbol of new life, and obviously the thing that we celebrate at Easter is new life. And then obviously the fact that Jesus rose from the dead is a really, really good thing, and chocolate is also quite a good thing. And so I think there's some of the links that I use to encourage my kids to eat chocolate / think about how good it is that Jesus rose from the dead. Have you got any more on that, Paul?
The Smarty one that's been around for a long time, yeah? It's a smart move to follow Jesus.
Nice.
No,
Nice.
And I don't know how the bilby works into it. I haven't seen a chocolate bilby for a while, so.
Yeah. Bunny's got no idea. Bilby's no idea. Like, most of this, not a clue. Why there's Elsa eggs and Iron Man eggs. Pretty certain that's called commercialization, but...
Yeah. And some of these questions, obviously, we're not going to answer right today because some of you guys are going to ask some good questions.
Or sometimes they just take us to some more thinking. We don't know everything.
Yeah, we want to research them and make sure we give you as good a quality answers as we can find. There's one here around parents. Will we say who's asking the question, or should we keep that? Kids can probably see it anyway, can't they?
We can already see it.
What does Siobhan ask?
She's asking, hang on, what do you do if you have parents or siblings who are living in the wrong way? And how do you
That's
avoid
awkward.
wrong influence when you live with them? It's really good questions.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Can you repeat the question?
So repeating it again, what do you do if you have parents or siblings who are living the wrong way? How do you avoid wrong influence when you live with them?
So parents or siblings that are living in the wrong way,
Yeah,
how do I avoid being influenced by them? That's a good one.
that's
Yeah.
a great one.
It's a hard one too, because obviously you love that person a lot. And when there's, I don't know, that deep connection that we have with family or friends, and we see that, it makes it quite hard to watch or to, we often hurt for them if we know that what they're doing isn't right or is maybe going to be hurtful for them and things like that.
Yeah. And we'll probably base a study around that one Sunday.
Yeah, that'd be good.
So, are we in a position where we can do some sort of roster so that they know what's going to happen each week, or should we just say tune in every week?
No, I think we can gather them and then order them and do some kind of roster. Yeah, let them know.
At least do like a weekly post or something, at least so they know, you guys know what's coming up.
Yeah. Amy's got a good one. I have a friend who deep down believes in God, but chooses not to believe. How do I get that person to believe more and commit his life to Christ?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good question too.
Yeah. Another one about a person that we obviously care about and have a heart for.
It's good to see people asking questions around people that they care about. It's good to see you guys having a connection to your non-Christian friends and to your still loving your non-Christian family and not being judgmental and things like that.
Yeah, and having a heart for them. Often, I feel like this time that we've got less time with you guys and less time with friends and family, you sort of do start to really realise sometimes how much they mean to us and how much we care for them. And what is it? Social distancing makes the heart grow fonder. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, in a way, it's annoying being locked in for so long, and you probably will clash. But this is also a good time, I guess, because you're always together. It's a good time to really focus in on your faith and working on that, and because people will see that a lot more, it'll influence them a lot more. So
it's when it's hardest too. Some of at home where we're most comfortable is the hardest to live out our faith, and that because it's where it's so easy to.
They know you, they see your dark side and your mistakes, and
it's hardest. And I'm going to assume that with Siobhan's question too, she's talking about fairly deep things, not like the wrong way. Isn't things like you put the toilet paper on the wrong way, or you put the sauce in the cupboard, not the fridge or whatever.
Yeah, that's all serious stuff.
I'm going to assume that you're talking fairly deep things. So that's right, dishwashers. So we're going to make that assumption, Siobhan, but if you'd like to clarify that it's not just about toilet rolls and sauce bottles and things like that, feel free.
But those questions are also welcome too,
Yeah.
If you want to know, how should I put the sauce bottle in the cupboard or the fridge?
I've got a question.
Yeah.
How do you stuff the dishwasher the right way?
Is this for Paul? I'm staying out of this.
How do I stack the dishwasher?
So there's a lot of complaints in our house about dishwasher stacking.
Yeah, I like to put the knives, and I don't know if you've got one with a knife and fork basket. I like to put that on one side of the dishwasher so that I can fit more of the plates together, because I think the plates have to be grouped together, and you want to try and do the plates in such a way that they're not hitting against each other, so you don't get chipped plates. And you want to put the big plates on one side of the dishwasher and the small plates on the other side so they don't clash. And you don't want clashing between your plates.
See, and I had a revelation about dishwashers a while ago that I used to always put all the knives in the one section and then all the forks in another section, because then it's obviously easier to take them out and put them into the right parts of the drawer. Whereas I have a mate who gave me this revelation that they actually clean better when you mix them all up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the water is confused and it therefore swirls around better around the cutlery. And I've taken his advice. But part of me dies inside every time I do it, because I should itemise them as to the right things. But
Another little tip, if we're talking about a dishwasher, it's encouraging. This is not really going to affect you guys as teenagers, but it's encouraging to get your kids to stack the dishwasher. But I recommend checking the dishwasher before they start it. Otherwise, you end up with like 3 dishes in your dishwasher and you've got to wait another 2 hours before you can put anything else in there.
Right. Oh. And 3 dishes and a cat.
Yeah.
It's not a good mix. But.
Yeah, or someone's Snuggie or Transformers in the dishwasher.
I hope that. So Daniel's come in and said that cupboard for the win. So I hope this is starting some deep discussions that Siobhan and Daniel probably need to be working out at the moment. These are deep relationship issues like cupboards and dishwashers and toilet paper and toilet seats and I don't know, numerous things. Which cloth you use on the bench and which cloth you use on the children and all that sort of stuff.
Where do you keep your sauce?
We're not big sauce people, to be honest.
Yeah, we stopped being saucy.
It happens. But we keep it in the fridge.
Oh.
Yeah. I do believe I was watching an NRL clip the other day, and Damien Cook, the Rabbitohs in New South Wales and Australian hooker, says that apparently it says on the back of it that once opened you're meant to refrigerate. And I haven't actually clarified that, but I don't question Damien Cook very much. So.
See, I grew up always putting it in the cupboard. What are some ways to motivate Chloe to get up at 9 to watch this?
Well, she's only going to be up at 9:30. That might help.
Ice water?
Electric shock therapy?
She doesn't have to get dressed. She just needs to be awake.
She can sit in her bed and be on her phone.
Get like pegs and put them on her eyebrows and it opens her eyes up. What does Chloe need motivation to get up and see me and Paul? Just tell her it's me and Paul answering questions about sauce.
Yeah.
She'll be up, dressed, showered, had breakfast, run 2 kilometres and she'll be keen. When's your Chloe?
Yeah, Siobhan says, all those sauce bottles in the cupboard is a deal breaker. I was taking a more meaningful approach.
Good. You are pretty meaningful, Siobhan. You're a deep thinker.
We do encourage that, although we also often ramble about useless, meaningless things. You are unable to comment on YouTube. No, that's just you, Matt.
Cool. Any more people? Any more questions? I asked Abby to join, but Abby's slack.
Abby Dixon.
Ronna boys have any? Taylor, do you have any questions? Oh, hang on. Here's Esther with some more questions.
Esther.
When the questions die, the live chat dies.
Okay, Esther, she wants to know, what is with the numbers 3 and 7 in the Bible?
Oh, the number questions.
E.g.,
They are both in the Bible.
Scrolls and Revelations, and what is with 3 and 7 not in the Bible? E.g., the 7 wave is biggest.
The 7th wave. Oh yeah. Is that like the 11th hour and these sort of phrases we have? Is that the 7th wave?
Yeah, there's the movie called The 5th Wave. A bit boring, but yeah, Revelations is that when we did that a couple of years ago, that is so number related. Like if you want to blow your mind, read through Revelation. So much number related, days and trumpets, and it's trippy.
And Revelation stuff, from what I understand from sort of Jewish literature and stuff like that, it's very symbolic. So different people in different aspects of Christianity do have disagreements on what these numbers fully represent and how symbolic they are or how literal they are. but there's also a massive element of symbolism to it and stuff. I know with 7, there's talk about it being sort of the perfect number.
Yeah.
And so often it's a number that seems to be special to God for sort of in this sort of random way at times. I read this morning with my kids the story of Balaam and the talking donkey. And before I prepped for that, he prepares 7 goats and 7 oxen on 7 altars. And that just seems to be a thing that's very, it's a number of sort of perfection and completeness.
And Dan wants to add the number 12 in there too.
Yeah, I guess 12 is like, it can be divided by 3, like it breaks, you know.
Yep. And 4 as well, and 6 and 2, and 12 and 1.
But not 7.
And 10 and 1.2.
When you do Revelation, if you add the numbers together and stuff, it's weird because it always adds up to like a multiple of 3 or 7 or...
Yeah. And 12 I've also heard is like a number of completion, of wholeness. So that's
12 tribes.
12 tribes, 12 times 12 is 144 and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, 1 whole year.
Yeah.
12.
I reckon there used to be 13 months, but I don't know.
You cut one.
Yeah.
Didn't make the...
October, I think, got cut.
That was my favourite.
Yeah. Or September, I don't know which it was, but...
Yeah. And I don't know much about 3. I know there is points to 3, obviously God being 1 and 3 and all that sort of stuff, but I don't know much about 3 and I got no really comments about that one. But
is Sensei Payne, is that James?
Mum.
Oh, Mum. Hello there.
Mama
Hey,
Payne.
Mum.
Oh, Brett's here. Hey, Brett.
Brent, he's still alive, Brent. That's awesome.
Caitlin's here.
And
Schmitty.
Sophie one of her friends wants to know about the meaning of baptism.
Oh, you should be all over that, Sophie, now that you've been baptised.
Yeah. That's a good question though. That's probably more than we'd cover right now, I reckon. Let's save that one for... That's my mum. I feel like there's such pride in that, James. Yeah. That's my mum. Yeah. Yeah, my mum's on Instagram with me. Yeah. I'd like to... What does that say about church, online church that's happening right now if we've got adults joining us? Sensei Payne? Yeah, I know it's recorded. I know, you can watch it anytime. I know.
Matt's got a question.
Maybe we're more sus and we need to be checked.
Oh, we're getting a YouTube question.
So, from Maddie Tan, are we all apostles after Jesus died?
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, sorry, I was a bit distracted.
Are we all apostles after Jesus died?
Oh.
I know we're all followers of Christ, all disciples.
And the Bible does talk about the gift of apostleship
when
it talks about spiritual gifts. So we can delve into that a bit deeper, give you a bit better of an answer than right off the top.
And Mrs. Payne is watching both. Multitasking.
Whoa!
Good job.
This is where T-Pain gets his spiritual nature from, I think. I wouldn't even...
So she's going to rate us.
Caitlin's sister, how are ya?
So we'll have to see if we do
Thanks
as good as...
for joining us.
Who's preaching the Sunday morning service today, Thomas? Ray.
All right.
Let's see if we can do as good as Ray.
We're done.
We've got like 2 minutes left, so
We're
go
done.
for it.
We're done.
Oh, we're done in 2 minutes, are we?
No, whenever you want. But I'm just waiting for some more questions. Any more questions?
Or is
guys?
Ray done in 2 minutes? Is he getting cut off in 2 minutes?
I feel like we need to angle the whiteboard to give it more glare if we're going to compete with Ray. But we love you, Pastor Ray.
Dan actually transported the whiteboard here from church all the way here so we could write questions on there, but we haven't written questions on there. So
I've been screenshotting because Thomas told me
Cal saved them, yeah.
See, technology crew, and this is the deepest part of technology we understand.
We've got another question from Esther. She's on the board today.
YouTube.
Why don't people live as long anymore?
Cal could answer that one. Cal could have some theories on that one.
Get back to you.
Too much Pepsi Max, cancer in a can, that's what they say.
Sugar.
Sugar, refined, preservatives, they're keeping the food alive but not the people.
That's right. How can something that preserves food kill people?
Yeah.
Oh, we got another one from Manny Town on YouTube. Okay.
Oh, he can comment on YouTube.
According to the Bible, how many animals did Moses take on?
Oh, the classic Moses and the Ark question.
Oh, Moses.
So good.
I remember Moses on the Ark.
Yeah,
good days, good
that
times.
That was the best.
Yeah.
What a character.
I like Matthew Tanius. He's always checking whether we're onto our things. Problem is, if you ask any question besides that one, I'm probably going to fall for it and then look like an idiot in front of Sensei Payne.
It's about time Matthew got online anyway. He's been skipping the last couple of times.
Has he?
Yeah, well, he skipped us. Maybe he just don't like Helen.
We should mark him off the roll. Matthew Tenius.
Maybe he only likes more spiritual people like Dan.
Yeah, or Ray.
Yeah.
Should stop talking about the fact that Ray's on because they might tune into him instead. We'll just have people dropping like flies.
But, with Ray, you only get the straight sermon. You don't get the backwards and forwards useless banter. So, depends what you're into.
Do you tune into church for spiritual growth or do you tune in for useless banter? That's the question.
Spiritual useless banter. No, that's probably blasphemous to say that.
I want a question from Kaylin. She's right there. She's joined. I want to just share some joy into my life. I wonder if Kaylin's wearing her vegan jumper when she's watching this. Can you let me know?
The cool thing is if Thomas's mum is going to join regularly, she can be the one that answers the really tricky questions for us.
Maybe we could have a special closing week where everyone can write questions about Thomas and we could get Mrs. Payne to answer all those on the final night. Because I don't think Angus or James would have anything embarrassing to ask about their older brother.
What's your favourite verse from the Bible?
Ooh.
What's your favourite verse, Dan?
Look, I think at some point in your life you've just got to choose one and stick with it so that you have an answer to this question, even though it may change a fair bit.
Yeah, it does change a lot, hey?
I think, let me check. I'm pretty certain it's 1 John 2:6 is my default favourite verse, but I do often get its numbers mixed up. Where are we at to? James,
Okay,
Peter.
while Dan's looking, this is for you, Sophie, or anyone else but Sophie, anyone else that wants to join. So my favourite verse, it's been my favourite for a while, is John 15:13. So challenge for you, look up that verse and what it says, and tell me why you think that's my favourite verse, because some of you guys know me fairly well. Tell me why you think that is my favourite verse, okay?
John 15:13.
John 15:13.
And mine is 1 John 2:6. So to clarify, it says...
1 John is good.
Yeah, 1 John is good. It says, whoever claims to live in him must walk as Jesus did. That is my favourite verse because I think it's really important that if we do put our name to Jesus or we do claim to be Jesus' follower, then we actually show that by how we live our lives.
Check my verse out. Let me know what you think about it. Why you think I chose that. Tell me what it is. It might be as a dog returns to its vomit, so a fool returns to his folly. But it might not be too. So just give us some feedback on why you think I chose.
Is that the one about palm trees and grabbing its fruit?
Yeah.
Is that Song of Songs 7?
Yeah. Don't read Song of Songs if you're under 18.
Got another question from Amy. Someone asked me, why does God let bad things happen? I answered as much as I could, but I want to know what you both think.
Thank you, Amy, because I would have thought you said I'd like to know what Paul thinks, but I feel very included. Thank you, Amy.
And do we want to touch on that one now? Do we want to save that for a study week?
Ooh, I'd save that one.
Yeah, it's pretty deep. That's a very common question, isn't it?
It is. It's a good one, and it's one worth exploring and allowing other people to think. I think with these questions, these deeper questions, it's important to allow people to have other people to chip in while we're doing it and stuff. Whereas I guess we could just share some thoughts on that right now, but it wouldn't allow the rest of you guys to, sort of to chip in and ask stuff like that. And so we might save that one for another week.
And that's the hard thing, because when I hear that question, I just want to answer it. I want to give my answers or my thoughts on it.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, well, hang on. Maybe out of respect for you guys, I need to actually think about my thoughts, talk to other people like Dan and Cal, Thomas, but then also do some research online and make sure I give you the best answer I can. Because if you're going to use this stuff to help your friends, which is what we want to make sure we give you the best tools we can find. Not saying Dan and I are tools, but just the theological.
But you can read into that how you feel best led to.
Yeah.
Mary Tan's got another one on YouTube. Is Matthew 27:52 literal? And the tombs broke open, the bodies of
he's
many
given it to us. What a
holy
legend.
people who had died were raised to life.
we can bring that 1 week to a study. I think it's literal, but
Yeah, I'd say yes, but obviously that probably going to raise some more questions and different things.
yeah.
I think there's, don't quote me on this, I'm pretty certain there is a Jewish historian who may even make some sort of comment about a few things that happened when Jesus died and stuff like that. And so I'll do a bit of researching into that, whether I can see whether that is true or not, or whether I'm just saying things that are not true.
Yeah, and there's this question about, did people other than Jesus be raised from the dead? We know Lazarus was, there's a couple of people like that, hey?
Yep, and like every Easter Sunday I read 1 Corinthians chapter 15, which is all about resurrection and what that means for us. If Jesus didn't rise from the dead, and if we don't rise from the dead, what that means for us as things. But I guess that's a little bit maybe different to then just like random people coming out of their graves when someone else dies and stuff. So it's pretty tripping. And that's not a part that you see in a lot of the kids' Bible stories. When you watch a little cartoon video about Jesus dying from the dead, they don't often show dead people walking around the streets of Jerusalem in those videos. So we'll do some, we'll get some better information for you on that one.
Yeah.
We've got another ark one.
Another ark one.
How did Moses manage to fit all the animals on the ark?
Look, it's just such a good question.
Everyone knows it was Abraham with the ark.
From Lachlan.
Everyone knows it was Abraham that
Lachlan.
put the animals on the ark.
Look.
And the Rudder Boys want to know
He had a
what
big
your
stick
favourite
too.
books of the Bible are. Your favourite book of the Bible?
Ooh.
Favourite book of the Bible? That's tricky.
Yeah, it is.
The longer you've been reading it, you get multiples. I've always liked John. But then when Cal and I did about 2 weeks on Revelation, that became a real favourite for a while there.
Yeah.
But it's a hard slog. Like it's good. It really strengthened our faith and even our relationship. We really love doing that together. But the longer you get into Revelations, the harder slog it is. First John is really good too.
Yeah.
I really like that one. Yeah. It can be repetitive though, because basically he's just retelling you all the time how much he loves you and how much we should love each other.
That's a good one to read fairly fast, not because if you just break into little chunks, it feels pretty. And First John and Mark are really good ones for you, like some of the really good ones for you guys to be reading. If you're thinking about reading the Bible yourself, there's less sort of puzzling things in there or deeper things. Something. So I'd often say for you guys, if you want to start reading the Bible, John and Mark are really good places, or John. But
Mark's good.
I like to word this question because it's hard to say favourite. Like I often reword this question to be like, if I was stuck on an island with only one book of the Bible for the rest of my life, which one would it be? And I'd get torn between, people say you can be like a Romans reader, where Romans is an epic letter that wrestles out some of the big questions about who God is and what that means for our life. But I'd say I'm more of a Psalms singer, and that if I was left somewhere, I'd like to have the book of the Psalms, not just because it's quite big, but it deals with so much aspects of life, the unfairness, the what about this, this is so good, all this joy, how do I contain this joy? And it's a person really or a couple of people, just pouring their heart out to God in like a song and songs. And so I'd probably take Psalms. I think it's my favourite book of the Bible.
I just finished reading Psalms. There's some really good stuff in there. Reread it. Some stuff's trippy, some stuff's really good.
Yeah.
Sophie says, for me, is it because God died for his friends? Kind of. I kind of also think laying down your life for your friends is about the life you live. So it's not just dying for someone, but making your life a godly life that people can look at. That's probably not quite in line. That's a little bit out of context maybe, but that's how I take it because that's how it encourages me.
We've got some more YouTube questions.
Okay,
Yep.
Dan has asked why there's so many variations of faith, as in Anglican, Lutheran, Baptist, Catholic.
Yep, different nations, but only one Bible. So fun fact for you there, Dan. We'll cover that another week. But fun fact for you there, Dan, there's actually different Bibles. So one of the denominations or parts of the church that you mentioned there actually does have a slightly different Bible to other ones. And so we can discuss that. But it's a really good question, why these different ones exist.
Oh, this is a good question. In the Garden of Eden, if the fruit of the tree of knowledge contains the knowledge of good and evil and right and wrong, then how could have Adam and Eve known it was wrong to disobey God?
Yeah.
We can answer that 1 week.
Yeah.
I'd
That's
straight
right.
up think it's just God told him not to. But yeah,
Yeah, but it's a good question. Yeah, if the knowledge came after the fruit, then why had they have it before the fruit? That's sort of that's a bit of a chicken and an egg sort of a question.
Yeah.
We've got some
It's
more
good.
from
It's good.
Matty
Could
Matt.
Jesus have really ever wanted to sin? And it,
Well, what? Yeah.
yeah. And if God is everywhere, is he in hell?
Uh-huh.
Ooh,
They're
good
from Matt as
question.
well?
Yeah, both Maddie here.
Cool. Good stuff. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah. Good questions for.
Yeah, they're good questions. Again, that's something we could give you thoughts and stuff now, but whether the best.
We're gonna flesh them out a bit, hey?
Yeah.
Lockie's got another one on YouTube. Can you suggest a book that is close to the Bible, such as the Prince Warriors?
For I presume for
like for reading.
for reading stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's heaps. There is an abundance of good Christian books or whatever. I think, what is it? Did you say Prince Warriors? I imagine that's one that you've read, Locke, because you're an avid reader, and I'm sure you've read some. So if anyone knows Locke and wants to read books that they think Locke might like and you might like, just hang out with Locke and ask him. He's a good reader dude. But when I was a teenager, probably the most influential book in my life, apart from the Bible, was a book called Shadow of the Almighty, which is which is the life story of a guy called Jim Elliot. And that book probably influenced me pretty heavily. But it depends whether you like reading stories about people's real lives, whether you like reading fiction, whether you like reading. Depends what you like reading. So
Yeah, we can maybe 1 week see what we got at home
plug.
and show you the cover or.
Yeah. We've given out one called Sneaking Suspicion by John Dixon to a couple of youthies over the years and that.
Yeah.
Anything by John Dixon for teenagers is pretty epic. But yeah, let's do a plug week.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Sophie's asking, do all religions lead back to God? So that's another good question.
Yeah.
Yep. That could almost be one that we could link up with Dan's question about
The denominations.
denominations and stuff. You know, those we do a two-parter on that one.
Yeah.
It's good that some of you guys are getting ideas from other people's questions, and that's kind of why we're reading them out, I guess, so that it prompts you guys to go, oh, someone's asked that, I feel okay to ask this, or someone's asked that, it makes me, now I'm thinking about that, you know?
Yeah, that's right. And when we just say, do you have any questions? Often your mind just goes blank.
No,
and
not
that's what
until,
And then other people start asking questions, oh, yeah, that's right. Or someone asked me this once, or actually, yeah, what is with that? So it's good. Good feeding off each other, and like we said, don't be...
And it's good you guys are trying to answer your friends' questions or reach out to your friends, but it's good that you guys aren't too proud to say, hey, am I doing this right? Or do I need to tweak this? Or
Add something to it.
Based on your questions, it's looking like it could be a good term for study.
Fantastic.
Like a tricky one, a lot of research, but good, that's what we want to see, you know?
Yeah. I know I get a lot out of, you guys ask these questions, and maybe sometimes I think I've got an answer or whatever, but often it's in the research and stuff that I often discover new things and learn and grow. And what's cool is just by asking these questions, as we try and help you guys walk in your relationship with Jesus, and you help other people do that, you're helping us by making us think about these things and do these things. So it's pretty cool that even though it's over this camera and screens and all that sort of jazz, it's pretty cool how we're all here for each other in that sort of way.
Thomas, do you know, are they able to, if we do studies, are they able to save the videos? So they can look at them again and again if they need to?
Correct.
Cool.
Another one from Rose. Why is Easter before Christmas?
Well, depends how technical you are. Hey?
Depends where you were born.
Easter
if you were born in October,
Yeah.
Christmas came first.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. And if Jesus was born, Easter can't come before Jesus was born.
That's right. And I'm pretty certain both of them were just like pagan festivals that we hijacked for different reasons or whatever. For that reason, Jesus wasn't born on December 25th. We don't know his actual birth date. And Easter, Jesus didn't die. I'm pretty certain in line with the was it the first full moon in line that falls after April, March, or what, like
Yeah.
whatever, however Easter works with the full moon or the moon in the system. So they're just, the dates of those is actually not corresponding to the actual events that we're aware of. But yeah, Christmas will come before Easter from this point on.
Yep.
It's crazy how these cycles. I remember as a kid being super confused because my sister's 2 years older than me, but I'm born in August and she's born in October. And I went through this phase in my life when I was probably about 6 or 7 where I was like, how can she be older than me? I was born in August and she was born in October. It doesn't make sense. And then I realized years actually like repeat.
And Cal's older brother just turned 9 this year. So you tell me if you can work that out. Yeah.
That's so good. I wish my siblings were all born on that day that allows that to happen, because then I would literally only buy them birthday presents.
Yeah.
Like he would have only had 9 birthday presents in his life. Like that's, as a sibling, I feel like you can hold that over them really well.
And one of my favourites is when someone's born on Christmas Day, because then it's like, boom, I only have to buy you one present.
And like, how do you compete with Jesus? It's like, It's my birthday, and everyone's like, yeah, cool. This guy saved me from my sins, offers me eternity in heaven.
What do you got?
What have you contributed? I guess Good Friday would be a lemon too. Hey, everyone, it's my birthday, let's party. Oh, it's kind of a day of solemn remembrance for the guy who died for my sins.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
You know, but I guess Good Friday moves every year, wouldn't it? So that wouldn't happen very frequently.
Yeah. And that's probably a question people might ask. Why is it called Good Friday when such a bad thing happened? That's a good question someone could ask that we could answer. Yep. Yeah.
That's a good one.
All right. We've got no more questions at the moment, so maybe wrap up.
Yeah, well, we got to wrap up. Thomas has saying I need to sneeze into my hands. If you've got any more questions, you may get offline today and you may go, oh, why didn't I ask this? Or, you can still put them on Instagram, still put them on YouTube. Private message them if they're ones that you're like, I don't want to ask this or have this acknowledged in front of people. And you can even put after the question, keep this private.
Yeah, well, I think if you private message us, probably won't read who comes, I guess. But,
I don't think we'll bring up who bought. See what question.
But that's the cool thing about doing it purely online is that often like at youth group and that where I'm old school and we'll ride with like a questions box or whatever. Whereas this, anytime you have any question throughout the day, you just got to open your phone or maybe ask your parents' phone or write it down somewhere and keep it ready for us.
Couple of questions. One's not a question.
James, what a brilliant question.
Chloe was supposed to be born on Christmas. When was Chloe born? Was she born like a couple of days before Christmas?
Yeah, was she too keen?
That's still unlucky.
Or was she really comfortable in there and just decided to stay in?
And James has asked a really good question.
It's a great question, James.
Why is it called Good Friday when such a bad thing happened?
Look, at times I question whether people have brains, but when deep thoughts like that occur,
so random,
so evident that they're just thinking deeply.
Okay, sorry. Are we going to give them another 30 seconds, or are we just going to close in prayer?
I just want to know, will it be on YouTube, be online every week?
That's a question for Thomas.
Will be on both, is that right, Thomas?
How many do you used to get? Is it worth me doing?
Well, for these kids it is, I reckon.
Yes.
Let us know on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, let us know whether you'd be able to join us if we cut YouTube. So if we cut YouTube, so like obviously Esther's on YouTube but not on Instagram and stuff.
And Lachlan's on YouTube.
And Lachlan, yeah. So like, because
Matthew Tenius has been
Matthew Tenius, he's on both.
Probably keep YouTube.
Yeah, cool. All right. Because it doesn't affect 3 of us here. It just affects Thomas.
Now, are you guys going to be?
Thank you, Thomas Payne.
Are you guys going to be super upset if it's not me and Dan all the time together?
It won't be me and Paul.
Yeah, it won't be.
There'll be weeks where we share things and stuff because we have children and other things like that where it's just
live.
It's fair to wives and children and stuff to not both be here every week.
Yeah, because there might be some there might be some questions that you want us both our takes on. So we'll just work out how we're going to do that.
Yeah, that's right. And even feel free to say that, like, Dan, thank you very much for your take on that topic. Paul, what do you think?
Yeah.
I'm not going to be offended at all. Like at all. 18th. Wow, she jumped in a whole week early. Well done, Chloe. If Chloe can get up and out of the womb a whole week early. Surely she can get up at 9 o'clock
Yeah.
to watch this. You know, don't.
Maybe that's why. Maybe early birth, she's trying to catch up on sleep.
That's right.
Yeah.
I hear if you miss a week in the womb, it potentially changes your whole life, like birthday and everything.
You know, maybe Sophie, you need to start making Chloe a coffee in the morning, just to help get her up. You know, hot coffee in your face normally gets you up pretty fast.
I hear if they're sleeping and you put the hand in a warm water, that also has quite influential effects on whether they want to stay in bed.
Yeah, shave one of her eyebrows, she'll get up. All good tips.
Just release.
She's still asleep.
Just release the brothers into her room.
Sophie, if you're watching this, we're disappointed that you're still asleep.
Sophie or Chloe.
Oh, sorry, Chloe. Chloe, if you're watching this, we're disappointed you're still asleep.
I'm actually only purely jealous.
Yeah.
There's no disappointment. Just jealousy.
I got a 2 o'clock wake up and a 2:15 wake up, and then a 5:30 wake up.
Yeah.
6 o'clock. So yeah. Come on,
He-
up your game.
If you don't
Chloe.
drink so much before bed, you don't have to go to the toilet as many times, Paul. I learned
Yeah.
that trick.
Yeah, it's funny. My kids seem to wake me up right when I need to go to the toilet, so it's handy. Yeah.
Yeah, except for when they need like all that loving and comfort because they've had a bad dream, and you're standing there like cuddling them and telling them it's all right, and every part of your body's saying, "I just got to go visit the loo."
I try to multitask. They're getting a bit heavy for that though.
Yeah.
Charlie is a struggle. It's a struggle to go to the toilet and comfort Charlie and cuddle Charlie along.
Yes, Esther, it should be on YouTube next week.
Thank you, Esther.
Oh, what's that say? I'll get Dale and Lane in here.
Yeah, do it. Do it, Sophie. Brothers don't have many uses, but that's one of their uses. And I'm sure even just the threat of that may get Chloe out of bed of her own will.
Cal's giving me the wave like stop talking. End it.
Yep, done. Bail. Finito. Cool. Great questions, everyone. There's probably 5 weeks worth of questions in there anyway, but we look forward to discussing them with you in the coming weeks. Looking forward to what rabbit holes we follow through with one question always often leads to another 10 or something. So
Yeah.
looking forward to those.
Do you want to close in prayer?
I would love to.
Cool.
Almighty God, we thank you for this chance to hang out on Instagram and YouTube. Lord, I thank you for the fact that you're a God who speaks to us. You're a God who wants to answer our questions and provides answers. And although at times, I guess we do have questions and we do have doubts and we do have these unknowns, I guess we just pray that you'd help us to look to your word and look to those around us for what you would say to us. I pray that you'd grant me and Paul and anyone else involved real wisdom and good time management and stuff to be able to just nut out some good answers and some good discussion on these things. Lord, I pray for the friends and family that some of these questions have been about. Pray, Lord, for that you just, help all of us to be good examples and to show real love to those that are around us, especially in the situation that we're in at the moment. We thank you for Thomas and all the work he's put in this. Thanks for Paul and Kel and the work they're putting into this too. And we just praise you for this chance to do this. We commit the coming weeks to you, commit the rest of this day to you. We love you, Jesus, for who you are and what you've done for us. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, guys. Keep sending your questions in over the next few weeks. We'll add them up and
Private message us, makes us feel popular.
put them together. Yeah.
See
Good
ya.
input, everybody.
Bye.
Catches.